Hello everyone, this is Pierre and today I wanted to dedicate a video on small prosthetics because I regularly see this pop up on forums, in the comment section of YouTube, where people ask where are the smaller packers, where are the small STPs, and to be honest there are not many. I mean, I do have a few here today, but these are like it. There are a few others. And actually on my Trans shopping list in my Google spreadsheet that I shared on my account, there is actually one sheet that is fully dedicated to web shops that offer these smaller prosthetics that you can look into. So the ones that I'm showing are only the ones that I have, obviously, but there are a few other options out there if you are curious. So let's start off with the most known one, and that's the Mr. Limpy Extra Small. I believe that there is like a new batch of Mr. Limpys, but this is the one that most people are familiar with, and this is the one that I will use to reference the size of other packers and prosthetics. So this is like the most common known one that creates a fairly small bulge, and especially if you like pack it upward or to the side, it will decrease the bulge size as well, versus if you like would wear it only like this. So what other packers do we have? So let's start with the most known small packer that's on the market. It's also one of the most cheapest ones, and that's the Mr. Limpy Extra Small. Well, it's still a very ballsy packer, and depending on how you pack it in your underwear, it will decrease the size of the bulge if you put it on the side or pack upward. And to quickly demonstrate, this is my underwear, and I basically got a hole in it because there's like extra fabric in there at the crotch area. So it doesn't really show it as well as I would wear it, of course, but you can see that there is quite the bulge if you basically pack it down. Now, when you wear underwear and you wear normal pants on top, the bulge will kind of push down a bit, but as you can see, it's still kind of a hefty thing. So what alternatives are there out? There is an STP that's very relatable in size, and that's this one. This is the Xmall from Transtore Brazil, which you can also buy from the Men's Room Trans shop, which is US based versus Brazil based. It is a little bit bigger, but as you can also see, the balls are kind of square, kind of rectangular, but the size in the pants isn't that much of a big difference, I'd say. So if you're looking for an STP that doubles as a packer, I always recommend this one. It's I'd say good for beginners. It has an anti-spill lip. Personally, I can't use it properly, but I mean, everybody is different. Let's see if I can put it inside this pocket, because this underwear is mainly used to pack and not to use for STP functions. Alright, so this is what it looks like in pants. Again, there is no other fabric keeping it down at the moment, but the shaft is pretty defined. Another smaller STP that's out there is the one from Axolom. This is the print uncut version, and the balls are like obviously smaller, but the shaft is still kind of girthy. And to compare it with the Mr. Limpy, can't really put, yeah, I can actually do it. Like if I lay it down, personally this one feels a bit more natural, a bit more realistic versus the others. Just keep in mind that it does look a bit different once you put your pants on top and if you actually wear it, of course. So that's it for the small STPs. I basically have two. Indigo Tienda Trans is, I think, Brazilian, I'm not sure. But that web shop also offers like a very small STP that kind of looks like this one, but then it has a hollowed out cup, of course, and I think it's called the Piccolo, so you could look into that one as well. And I'll start off with some that look or are similar in size to the Mr. Limpy, but are a bit more realistic. And I start with this one from the Real Dick Company, which has like a tab. It even has a pleasure hole, and you can actually decide how big you want this hole to be on the website without extra costs coming to that. And this one was kind of slightly defunct packer, so I didn't get to decide the size, and this size was honestly a bit too big for me personally. You can see that there is a lot more volume, but the overall shape is kind of the same. Again, this one has more detail and has a tab, and it has a pleasure pocket. And this one discounted was like $20. I think the more regular standard price is about $30. So you do get a few extra options. The tab, which you could use to adhere to yourself, and of course the pleasure sleeve, so that's a good price for a regular, like, smaller packer. Then I will proceed to try put it inside the pants. Also, I usually recommend using tighter underwear, but you'll just have to try, see what you can do with what you have. There it is. It does kind of stick out, but that's sadly an issue that most packers have, even if they are small. And I also say the disadvantage of packers who are smaller and have a smaller shaft means that they usually also kind of stick out more versus packers that are like a bit bigger in length. Then we have the Kolby from Grammas sausages, and this has to be the most realistic prosthetic that I've ever had. It had a very malleable texture to it. I already reviewed it, so for extra details you can look into the review. And this one is uncut, clearly. Again, it's a bit bigger than the Mr. Limpy, but it does pack down a bit better, especially because it's so squishy. It used to have a tab, but I never used it, so I kind of cut it off. That's why it looks this sloppy. My apologizes for that one. Alright. Okay, I also noticed that the packing part doesn't go fully down in this underwear, but you can see how it's one of the more heavier packers, but I like the look of it anyway. As you can see, it has a more natural curve to it versus those that stick up. Now, Transtore Brasil also has a plush packer. This is the Pop Tee. It has an elastic band to keep the shafts down, but to be honest, I'm not a big fan because it's very bulky and it's kind of stiff, so you can't maneuver the shaft up and down like the Mr. Limpy, but it is again very similar in size. Yeah, you can see how this kind of packs. Again, it could be a very nice alternative if you are sensitive to silicone or TPE material, then a plush packer is of course a nice alternative. And I think it's actually the only one in its kind. I do know that there are on Etsy like small sellers who offer like cotton packers who are a lot flatter than this. So you have a lot of options if you know where to find them. Now Axolom also has this Fusion Uncut Mini version. So the regular one is like the size of my hand, and this one is a bit smaller. Right, it's kind of twisting around in the underwear already. Again, everything is more secure once you properly wear it. And what is nice about this prosthetic, of course, is that the shaft is already pointing down very much. It's already modeled to be in a flaccid mode, hanging over the balls, which makes packing in certain ways easier, of course. Unless you kind of want to pack the shaft to your left or to your right or upward. Now come the very small packers. Oh wait, actually there is still one left. This is the SilSkin Toys packer. I think it's called the soft packer. And although it is a bit longer than, as you can see, the Mr. Limpy, it makes up in its sleek design and its very smooth, thin design as well. Like, even though it tapers upward, it's still, like, this part is still a lot thinner than the entire bulk of the Mr. Limpy. And I really like this packer if I want a bit lighter prosthetic in my pants, and I also want to still have like the width kind of, but don't want to deal with the boner like state of some packers. As you can see, the bulge is very subtle, very kind of smallish, but it does have a more balanced ratio between the shaft and the balls versus, and the overall look to it, because let's show you, this is the Pierre Mini, the Pierre Small is I think the right name for this one, and this is from New York Toy Collective. And as you can see, it's really small, it's like smaller than my hand. What I do like about this one is that, again, the shaft is modeled downward, and it actually does have a little bit of room and bendiness to it, as you can see, to pack to the side if you want to. I think you could even try to kind of pack upward, though I'm not sure if this part might break if you bend it and pack it this way too often. But personally, I think the balls are, like, the entire thing is a bit too small for my taste. Then again, it does a nice job of feeling that you have something down there without the visual thing that most of these packers have. So this is what it looks like inside the pants. There is barely a bulge noticeable unless I like really pick it up. And now I have like two other packers that come close in size. This one is the Trex or the Trex from KuduVoodoo. It's obviously the fantasy packer out of all of these. And it's a little bit bulkier, but still provides a very discreet packing experience. Even if you can see that the shaft is kind of a bit more erect and a little bit more upstanding compare that to the Mr. Limpy again. And what's great about these two prosthetics, besides the size, is that they are all silicone, so it's body safe. You can boil it to fully sterilize it if you want to. Alright, so this is what it looks like in the pants and the underwear. And we also have this one. This is the, let me quickly look. It's the SP4 from Banana Prosthetics. They have an updated version of this one, I think. So this isn't no longer the one that they have available. I think the new SP4 is uncut, but I'm not sure exactly. Immediately you see the size difference. The depth of this one is much flatter. Everything is like much smaller. And I would say that these packers are ideal if you are still like young, but also it's for people who want to pack but are worried about or are very conscious about their underwear and how it might look like, but still want to feel the weight of a prosthetic, of something being there, touching their body, being part of their body. And then finally another fantasy packer. This is the Sheath from Vulpini design. Just like KuduVoodoo, they specialize in fantasy toys, but they also offer a range of packers. Especially KuduVoodoo, this isn't the only one. They have like 2 or 3 other fantasy packers, and their mini versions are all around this size, I'd say. And they are like $30, I think. Sometimes they have discount and then it's only $20, so it's a really good deal. Alright, so this is clearly designed and based off an animal, if that's your thing or not, but again, it's an option if you want something very small, something very discreet. It's a bit pointier. To be honest, it's a bit difficult to pack because it's so small. It kind of jumps around in your pants sometimes, but just to give you different options. And Bad Bite Toys on Twitter, they also offer like the Bateau, which is a packer similar in design, and they offer like 3 or 4 sizes, which are like gradually lead up to like sizes of this one or even bigger. So there you have it, all the small prosthetics that I have and that exist out there. My closing thoughts. I would always try to invest in something that isn't made of TPE because the material isn't really easy to clean. You can't boil it to fully sterilize it. Again, if you are short on money, then TPE packers are also fine and the most affordable ones. But I would try to save up for like a packer that is 100 silicone because it's the most body safe option. And it will maybe last even longer. So you have the Mr. Limpy extra small. Most of these packers are ballsy, alas, and have like a more erect shaft. So tight underwear is recommended, or packing gear. You have much smaller prosthetics if you want to, if you prefer this. Banana Prosthetics offers like a wide range of different skin tones, which is also a very big plus for them. New York Toy Collective also has like 3 skin or 4 skin tone options, so they are a bit more limited, but they are still very good in quality, I'd say. And then if you don't want these ballsy options, or you feel dysphoric about realistic looking pins, or you just want to spice it up, you always have the options of wearing a fantasy packer. Alright, I hope that this is a useful video. If you want to see like packing demonstration videos or something of a specific packer, feel free to message me or to comment in the comment section below. And that's it for today's video. I hope it has given you some extra options to look into if you want to. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening.